30,000 years ago, a fever could kill a man, but it could not conquer the world. Imagine a small group of humans sitting around a fire at the edge of an Ice Age forest. One of them is coughing. His skin burns. His breathing gets weaker through the night. By morning, he is dead. For his family, it is a disaster. For the germ inside him, it is also a disaster, because there is nowhere left to go. There are no crowded cities nearby, no ports, no trade routes, no armies marching across continents, no airports, no strangers arriving every hour with fresh lungs, fresh blood, and fresh bodies. The disease burns through a tiny group of humans, and then it hits a wall. For most of human history, pandemics had a problem. Humans were too hard to find. We lived in small, scattered groups. We moved constantly. We followed animals, seasons, rivers, coastlines, and plants. A pathogen could still kill. Infection was real. Parasites were real. Wounds, fevers, contaminated water, and bad food could still destroy lives. But there is a huge difference between a disease and a pandemic. A disease needs a body. A pandemic needs a network. It needs enough people packed close enough together. It needs new victims arriving before old victims disappear. It needs roads, animals, markets, ports, ships, cities, soldiers, and speed. For thousands of years, humans accidentally built all of it. We did not invent every virus. We invented the world viruses were waiting for. And the first machine was not a city, it was a farm.
This is how we will grow.
When humans invented farming, it looked like the greatest survival hack in history. Instead of chasing food across the landscape, people could grow it. They could store grain. They could stay in one place. They could raise more children. They could build houses, fences, storage pits, and villages. It looked like control. But farming did not just create food, it created leftovers. Grain attracted rats. Stored food attracted insects. Standing water attracted mosquitoes. Animal waste collected near homes. Human waste stayed near the places where people slept, cooked, drank, and raised children. Before farming, if a place became filthy, humans could move. After farming, they stayed. They built a home on top of the problem. A village was not just a place where humans lived, it was a place where waste, food, animals, water, parasites, and people began to overlap every single day. For germs, this was a revolution. A moving band of hunter-gatherers was difficult to exploit, but a farming village was predictable. The same bodies returned to the same water. The same hands touched the same tools. The same children played near the same waste. The same animals slept behind the same fences. Humans thought they had domesticated the land, but they had also domesticated exposure. And then they invited disease's most dangerous partner into the village: animals. For most of human evolution, wild animals were distant. You hunted them, avoided them, or ran from them. Contact was violent, brief, and risky. Domestication changed that. Animals were no longer across the valley, they were beside the house. Cattle, pigs, sheep, goats, chickens, ducks, horses, and other animals became part of daily human life. People fed them, milked them, butchered them, slept near them, cleaned their waste, drank from water near them, sold them in markets, moved them between villages. This did not mean every animal carried a pandemic. Most germs never made the jump. But human life had created something new: constant contact. A germ that once lived only in an animal population now had endless chances to test human bodies. Most attempts failed. A farmer might get sick and recover. A child might die. A village might suffer, and then the chain might end. But failure did not matter, because humans had created a laboratory with no closing time. Day after day, animals and humans exchanged breath, blood, waste, water, insects, and touch. A pathogen did not need to succeed the first time. It only needed enough chances. And when one of those germs finally learned how to survive in humans, the next human invention gave it exactly what it needed.
Look at them pecking at the ground.
Crowds. A disease in a small camp is a tragedy. A disease in a city can become history. Cities were one of humanity's greatest inventions. They created markets, temples, governments, armies, writing, law, monuments, and wealth. They allowed thousands of strangers to live together in one place. But to a pathogen, a city was not a symbol of progress. It was a feeding system. Narrow streets, shared wells, packed homes, dirty water, open waste, food markets, animal markets, travelers, beggars, soldiers, priests, children, rats, fleas, mosquitoes, bodies everywhere. A germ no longer had to search for victims. Humans lined them up. In a small, wandering group, a disease that killed too quickly could destroy its own future. It could run out of hosts. But inside a city, there were always more people. New children, new migrants, new workers, new prisoners, new traders, new soldiers. The city solved the pathogen's biggest problem: supply. And once humans gave disease supply, they gave it distance. Trade routes were the internet of the ancient world. They connected places that nature had kept apart. Silk moved, salt moved, grain moved, gold moved, weapons moved, stories moved, religions moved, armies moved. And so did things no one could see. A rat in a cargo hold, a flea in a blanket, a cough in a caravan, a fever on a ship, blood on a battlefield, contaminated water in a marching camp. Disease did not need to cross the world by itself. Humans carried it. This is the terrifying genius of human connection. A road does not care what travels on it. A ship does not know the difference between spices and infection. A market cannot see the germs passing from hand to hand. A port can welcome trade in the morning and death by nightfall. The same system that made cities rich made disease mobile. A sickness that once would have died in one village could now move from village to city, from city to port, from port to ship, from ship to empire. By the time people understood what was happening, the disease had already used the map humans built for it. And this pattern did not stop in the ancient world. It became faster. In 1918, influenza spread through a world already ripped open by war. Soldiers were packed into camps. Men crossed oceans. Troops moved between continents. Ships carried armies. Trains carried bodies from one crowded place to another. The virus did not invent global movement. Humans did. War gave it density. Transportation gave it reach. Crowding gave it speed. And suddenly, a respiratory infection was not just a local disaster. It became one of the deadliest pandemics in modern history.
The flight will take about 10 hours.
That is the part humans keep forgetting. Pandemics are not just about germs becoming stronger. They are about human systems becoming better at spreading them. Farms gave pathogens stable homes. Animals gave them new bodies to practice in. Cities gave them crowds. Trade gave them roads. War gave them movement. And modern life gave them speed beyond anything the ancient world could imagine. Today, a person can be infected in one country, board a plane, cross an ocean, stand in a line, touch a screen, sit in a taxi, enter a hotel, and still not know anything is wrong. The body has not even started to panic yet, but the network is already working.
That is what makes the modern world so powerful and so dangerous. We built systems that can move food across continents, medicine across oceans, families across borders, ideas across languages, money across markets, warnings across the planet in seconds. But the same connections can move something else. A pathogen does not need to hate humans. It does not need a plan. It does not need intelligence. It only needs opportunity. And human civilization has spent thousands of years creating opportunities. Still, this is not a story where nature is evil and humans are helpless, because the same civilization that created the pandemic machine also created the tools to fight it. Cities spread disease, but they also built hospitals. Trade spread infection, but it also spread knowledge. Science revealed enemies too small to see. Sanitation separated waste from water. Vaccines trained the body before the invader arrived. Public health turned survival from an individual struggle into a shared defense system. Human connection is the danger, but it is also the defense. A virus can cross borders, so can information. A plane can carry infection. It can also carry doctors, medicine, equipment, and warnings. That is why pandemics are not just biological events. They are X-rays of civilization. They reveal how humans live, where we crowd, what we eat, which animals we touch, how fast we move, which people are protected, which people are ignored, which systems are strong, which systems were only pretending. A pandemic is not just a germ escaping into the world, it is the world showing its design. And that design began long before microscopes, hospitals, vaccines, aeroplanes, or laboratories. It began when humans stopped moving, when we planted grain and stayed beside the field, when rats found the storage pit, when mosquitoes found the water, when animals entered the village, when villages became cities, when cities opened markets, when markets opened roads, when roads reached ports, when ports reached oceans, when the whole planet became one connected body. For most of history, people thought pandemics came from curses, gods, bad air, punishment, or fate. The truth is stranger. Pandemics came from success, from humans solving one survival problem after another and accidentally solving the pathogen's problems too. We made food more reliable. We made bodies more available. We made distance smaller. We made movement faster. We made the world connected. Humans did not create every disease. We created the pathways. We did not design every virus. We designed the conditions that let some of them become global. Civilization did
We
not
are all
defeat
connected
nature.
now.
It
grid
connected
is
everything
glowing
nature
brighter.
had kept apart. And sometimes what travels through those connections is food, medicine, love, and knowledge. Sometimes it is something else.